and you think your club are in trouble. This is Sheffield Wednesday. This is Chanziri, the owner. Now, after all that turmoil, as it stands in February, Wednesday lie 23rd in the league, and it's just not looking good for them. This all seems a long time ago. Hey, it pains me to say this, but I'm old enough to remember moments like these, when they were actually pretty successful Wednesday in the Cups. Okay, so what we have here is Sheffield Wednesday live in real life with 26 points in total. It's not great, is it? Now, thanks to a database which has the exact same league position and past fixtures, I'm going to take charge of Sheffield Wednesday from now after 31 matches. And let's see what we can accomplish in 5 years, sir. This shows the job we've got on for this season. This is the actual real life results this season that Wednesday have had. And as you can see, they're not too pretty, are they? There's not a lot to hold on to there. They did win the last game against Birmingham on the 9th of February, 2-0. So maybe that's something, but yeah, big job going on, big job. Now, if you're interested in these real life fixtures, as it stands, there's a link in the description. It'll send you to an external website for that. So there's my squad. It's time to assess it and let's see what we can do for this season. Obviously, the goal for this season is to simply keep them in this league. We've got, what, 15 matches to go? Is that right? 15 matches, the 5 points adrift. It may be a situation, dudes, where we have to take a step back to League One to come back up that little bit stronger. And I guess the whole time we're going to be competing with this man, Chanziri. He does like to make life a little bit difficult, doesn't he? The actual finances of the club are pretty healthy, believe it or not, but we're going to ignore that because we want to keep it real. The transfer budget is 250,000, the wage budget is okay. We're going to keep it tight though because that's the way he runs this club. It's in financial peril, so we're not going to take the mick on that. In fact, I'm going to try my hardest not to spend a penny. So tactically, this is an interesting one because we're taking over a team way deep into the season and it's not something I've done normally. So I'm going to take a bit of the advice on board for once here and I'm going to go with a 4-2-4. Simple 4-2-4. That's the layout I've got initially. Now I'm going to do some tweaking to the starting lineup and player roles. Michael Smith's been around a bit and if you look at him, he's 6'4", so he just oozes target forward for me. So he's going to be a target forward. We'll start him. We've got a nice playmaker in Barry Bannon. Windass is an option to play up front, but he looks more like a number 10 to me. But what we do have is some big, strong boys back there. We've got Diaby, centre-back, 6'1", with strength of 16. Mo Diaby, who's in on loan from Portuguese football, 6'6". Wow. Central midfielder. Akinfemiwa, again, another 6'2" plus player. Big, strong team, this. But we'll set up like this for now. The unfortunate news is, my first game is up against the best team in the league, Leicester City, who are obviously top of the league and running away with it. And it didn't start great. After 25 minutes, we were 2-0 down. But we made a couple of tweaks, and in the second half, some lovely football. We got one back through Smith. And then from a corner in the 89th minute, Diaby with a big header. 2-2 in our first game against the best team in the league. This shows promise. Away to Millwall was the next game. That was disappointing. We got beat on the break. A 6-pointer against Rotherham. They're bottom. We're second bottom. Smith helps us take the lead via Johnson. Then it's the 95th minute. The 95th minute. Rotherham equalise. But wait. It's the 97th minute. Penalty. I can't believe what I'm seeing. I mean, look at that. How did we lose that match? That leaves us adrift at the bottom. From our first 4 games, we drew 1 and lost 3. Not the greatest start in the world. So I went back to the drawing board, had a look at what the squad was actually offering us and settled on a 3-at-the-back system. Largely due to the fact we've got some great centre-backs here. Also, we've got this man, Juan Delgado, who does have 18 caps for Chile. I'm confused why he's at Sheffield Wednesday, but I'm going to use him as a really attacking wing-back. We've also got this man, Anthony Musaba. He wants to play winger, but I'm going to stick him up front to get the most out of his acceleration and pace. So it's a solid system. It's not one I want to use too much going forward, but as it says, it is the survivor. This is going to try and get us out of this mess. The signs were promising. Smith and Musaba were linking up well, causing havoc. 3-0 against Plymouth in a game we dominated. We did get battered by Leeds in the next one though. Look, this is a tough run of fixtures. We're at Ipswich away now, who are obviously really high up, and Musaba again got through. This system is causing teams problems. We hit them on the break and win 3-2. All in all, we're on a good little run here. We beat Swansea, we lost to Middlesbrough, but we beat QPR and we just beat Norwich 3-2. All this means with 4 games to go, we're only 2 points off Stoke City now. They do have a game in hand, but we're definitely in the hunt. And if you look at our fixtures, our next match, massive. It's at home to Stoke. Delgado was huge in this one. Massive, massive performance. As he laid on both first half goals for Diaby as well. Bang! Stoke came back at us, but that's a huge result. That actually gets us out of the bottom 3 for the first time. And we've got 3 games to go. It's in our hands now. This would be huge. By the way, did you know Wednesday have also got Denis Vasquez, a goalkeeper, on loan from AC Milan? I am baffled. So it's safe to say this has gone pretty well. I'm happy with this. And this little survivor tactic I've got here, I'll put this in Patreon, by the way. Every tactic I use in this little save, I'll put in there. It's doing the business, largely thanks to the wing-backs. And this guy, Masaba, who's been fantastic out of nowhere, scored 6 in 10 matches. Away to Blackburn, another 2 goals from Michael Smith. Helped us to another massive victory, which means with 2 games to go, we're now 4 points clear of Stoke City. And interestingly, Stoke's manager is Chris Wilder, former Sheffield United manager. Oh dear. So after this great run, a victory in one of our 2 matches against West Brom or Sunderland will keep us in the Championship for next season. That'll be huge. Our best performance since we took charge of the club, and it was fitting that Musaba was one of the scorers. And in the second half, Big Diaby sealed the win with a thumping finish. 3-0 against West Brom means we stay in the Championship. And we've actually done it pretty easily now. We've got a game to go and we're sitting 19th. This run of form has been daft, and it gives me a bit of a conundrum because I was thinking that this tactic would be very much a stopgap for this season just to keep us up, and it has done that, but we've started to really bet into it. So now I'm thinking, do we try and build on this tactic for next season and try and get that mid-table finish? We wrap up the season with another clean sheet away to Sunderland. So we finished with Wednesday in 19th position. I will take that. I'm well happy with that. Stoke fall into League 1 alongside QPR and Rotherham. So I've decided I'm going to build on this tactic for next season because it did so well. But there's a few key problems here because there's a few of these players who are leaving us. Smith and Windass have decided to leave because their contracts are up. Same with Barry Bannon. Diaby is only a loan player, so he will also be leaving us. Same with the keeper Vasquez. He's going back to AC Milan. Milan, Sheffield? Alright, I'll let you have that one. So now you can see the gaps we have left to fill. A target forward is needed, a shadow striker is needed, 2 central midfielders and a goalkeeper. I am really happy with the 3 centre-backs. That's why I changed this formation. When I was assessing the squad, these 3 were big standouts. So I've got a new contract for Dominic Iorfa. He will stay next season. Will be the wide centre-back on the right-hand side. Famiwo will be the wide centre-back on the left-hand side. I'm not going to ask him to do too much going forward, which is a good job because he's not great at crossing, but he's super solid and natural left footer. I'm really happy with the wing-backs, especially Delgado. Musaba's been a right gem up front. He doesn't want to play up front, but my God, 7 goals in 12 matches. He helped keep us up. To emphasise that, we're going to really focus his training now and give him advanced forward training. And obviously, he's not the greatest in the world at finishing, so let's get that sorted out a bit with his shooting. So that's season 1 wrapped with the survivor tactic. Into season 2, I've got a busy period in this transfer window though. Busy. So I'm going to try and keep this realistic, and you can see the most we're paying out at the minute is 20,000, so we're not going to go above that until we're in the Premier League. In fact, I'd like to keep it way below. The other thing is we've got 18, count them, 18 players out of contract. Wow. An often forgotten job was to sort the staff out. Look at the state of this. I mean, that is embarrassing. We don't even have a goalkeeper coach. So in pre-season, I made a priority of sorting that out, and you can see the difference now. The coaching team is pretty good. Summer transfer window, this happened an awful lot. We are not overpaying. The most I'm ever going to pay a player is around that 19,000 mark, which was the Barry Bannon number. So transfer business, we brought in 600,000 and all the guys who were out of contract had left the club. So to replace them, we'd spent a whopping 70,000 on a loan fee. Okay, are you ready for this army of free transfers?
Are you ready?
Ucho Ikpeze, free transfer from Port Vale, the league below, target forward. Miguel Aziz, released by Arsenal. Again released by Arsenal, Tyrese John Jules, we're going to play him up front off the bench. Sean Maguire in from League 1 Carlisle. Nathaniel Shalabar will compete for the Barry Bannon spot in midfield. Goalkeeper Bailey Peacock Farrell from Burnley. Now the big signings. Free transfer from Brentford, Saman Godos. He's going to play a shadow striker most likely. But we got him on a good wage, only £10,000 a week. And the landmark signing for us was Nadim Amiri. He's going to replace Barry Bannon in the start. Came in from Bayer Leverkusen on the same wages as Bannon. What a signing. In on loan for Man City is Josh Wilson-Esbrand. He'll compete for left wing back. Free transfer from Everton is Jean-Philippe Gabamin. He comes in for Anchorman. And also from Everton, on a loan deal till the end of the season, is Youssef Shemiti. He's going to be our target forward. So what that means is the team looks a little bit like this. Obviously, it's a big change, but we had a lot of players out of contract, but we haven't spent any money. We have not broke that wage budget, and I'm really happy to hit them 3 boys at centre-back. Wing-backs are the same as well. So our defence is, in essence, the same. It's going forward where the big change has happened, but Musaba is still our striker. As far as the season preview goes, they don't have a lot of faith in us. We are down in 19th, exactly where we finished last season. So it's up to us to better that. We're going to go for a top half finish, so 12 and above is the target. So that's the tactic. The team are ready. Let's get into season 2. I'll be interested to see if I need to change this and go for a different style. Only one way to find out. The season started great and then we started to fall off because of some big injuries. This one to Godos in particular. He's out for the season. We picked up Patrick Roberts on a free transfer to replace him. Halfway through the season, we're about where we wanted to be. Sat in 12th, it was pretty solid stuff. We'd only conceded 28 goals, but we'd only scored 28, so decisions need to be made here. So with a third of the season to go in season 2, I'm going to get a bit more expressive with the tactic. At home, we're going to go attacking. I'm going to use Amiri as a Volante and a DLP. I'm going to lose the anchor man. Bit of a risk, but I think it's worth trying. Those slight changes in the tactic led to a great run of form. This was the highlight of the season, away to Southampton. Thumping win, and they're top of the league. Okay, season 2 is complete, and do you know what I love? Journeyman striker Ucho Ikepese, who we signed from Port Vale, off the bench so much this season, finishes the season with 19 goals this season. Oh my god, what a player. He's already a cult hero, we're keeping him. The solidifying season is complete and we finished exactly where we wanted to. We finished mid-table, 12th, right bang, slap in the middle. 13 points off the playoffs, but way away from relegation. So that's some nice progression there. Nice, steady progression. I guess the biggest news is Chansiri has gone. He's sold up to a Chinaman, Dai Zhu, we'll call him. He's taken over. Mixed blessings, because he's left us with this. We are now 10 million in debt. Out of nowhere. I don't know why. It's just... What? Bear in mind, we brought in 750,000 to the club. We've spent 70 on a loan deal. Everybody else was a free transfer. But new board guy, he's just cut the purse strings. So now for season 3, we've got literally nothing. So we finished up season 2 using that for the second half of the season. We went a bit more aggressive, using attacking at home, balanced away. It was up and down, to be honest. We had a really good run here in the, where's that, about Christmas time to January, and then we fell away right at the end of the season. The boys got a bit tired. There was nothing much to play for. Yeah, but still a nice tactic, but it's got me thinking about where to go for the next season. Now, the teams that are getting promoted, Sunderland, Southampton, they're playing passing football. And the season before that, Leicester strolled it with Maresca in charge, a disciple of Pep Guardiola. And think about the season before that, Burnley. So that got me thinking, maybe that's the way we progress and try and get out of this division. A bit of passing football. Problem is, we've got over 10 players out of contract, and I can't renew these contracts because of the financial situation. For example, Musaba, he's off, he's joining Metz, I can't renew his deal. I thought these rebuild things were supposed to get easier over time. This summer's going to be hard work. As we roll into season 3, believe it or not, I am not as mad as you think I am, because this wage budget kind of reflects real life and what they're dealing with now, so we're just going to have to deal with it. These 10 players will be leaving us in a month's time, so then we need to build the squad again. Sneak peek of what I'm thinking about for the tactic. It's going to change, but that's my early thoughts. As season 3 began, the finances of the club were totally fine. Helped in no small part by the sale of Peacock Farrell to Birmingham for nearly 4 million. He was only with us for 1 season. However, no money was given to me to improve the squad. So yet again, I had to work with free transfers and loans. In from Chelsea was Faustino Angerin. He didn't play a game for Chelsea, 23 years old. Experienced Eder Balenta comes in, could play centre-back or defensive midfield. The good news is we got Mo Diaby back from the season 1. He's a free transfer. 2 goalkeepers now at opposite ends of the scale. John Ruddy at 38 and Radek Vitek at 21. They'll compete for the jersey. And 2 loan signings. Edwards comes in from West Ham and Thierry Small to play left wing-back from Southampton. Dreams of possession-based football for this season sadly had to wait. No money to improve the squad. We had to concentrate on pace and power. We've got power across the back and in midfield, and the 3 up front are electric. Okay, halfway through the season, things are going really well. Only lost 4 times, sitting pretty in the playoffs. Playing in that shadow striker role, and Jorin's been the standout with 7 goals from 18 matches. However, there are some big teams in this league, such as Leeds, Forest, Wolves, so it's going to be a tricky one. So right at the tail end of the season, we've had some stomping results. Southampton recalled Thierry Small, so we had to play James as a wing-back, but he's doing fine. And the chemistry between the back three, with two wide centre-backs, backing up the wing-backs, has really helped. There is a slight tweak where we pushed Edwards into a deep-lying forward role. We've just done that about halfway through the season in a little change from this one. Bit more aggressive, and it's helped us. It's helped us. We've managed to stay the course in those playoff places, and we're currently sitting third place, only 4 points behind automatic promotion, with 9 games to go. Uchi's done it again for the second successive season. Look at him down here with his XG per 90 minutes. He's way above anyone. He's actually only started 3 times in the Championship this season, but he scored 7 times. He's lethal off the bench. We've got this clutch of games to come. Even in the FA Cup quarter-final, we've had a decent ride into it, but still, FA Cup quarter-final and these 9 games to try and get promoted. With the new take on the tactic, we performed really well against promotion rivals Nottingham Forest, beating them 2-1, but it was a pretty comfy one. However, after that, we were on our worst run at the worst possible time, winning only 1 of our last 7 matches. This meant we went into the playoffs against Burnley, away from home first leg, grit 0-0. Somehow, we got pretty battered. In the home leg, we had high hopes of getting to Wembley. However, Patson Daka thought otherwise. Burnley dominated us over 2 legs, beat us 3-1, we're out in the playoffs. We finished the season in third place, just 3 points off automatic, and that bad run at the end of the season really cost us. And if you look at it, we were pretty good all season. 83 goals, the second best in the league. Conceded 57, so that was the problem. And of course, losing 13 matches didn't help either. So really disappointing. We switched to this tactic. It worked initially, but then it kind of dropped off a bit. So we're going to have to think of a different version of that for next season. But we are getting better each year, which is what we wanted. Right then, into season 4 we go. The pundits have us down at 15th, 25-1. And yet again, transfer business has been done with 0 spent, all free transfers other than 1 loan. So with no money, I concentrated on released players from Premier League teams. There's 3 there from Liverpool, 1 from Arsenal, 1 from Man United, and a rather big one from Manchester City. That's right, we signed Oscar Bob on a free transfer. In real life, he's a great player, but perhaps in FM, he's not realised that potential yet, but we've took a flyer on him on a free transfer. Okay, how about the 3 from Liverpool? So first up was the striker, Oakley Cannonier. He's going to be competing for the striker position, but he can also play in behind as a shadow striker. Next 2 are starters. Owen Beck's going to start as left wing back. Great potential there. He had a season last season on loan at Lincoln. And on the other side, the electric pace of Connor Bradley. Last year on loan at Bolton. Released, he's 23, great potential. Shola Shortire comes in from Man United. He may not start, but he's very useful coming off the bench. Lots of young players, so let's bring in some experience. John Joe Shelby, who's just spent some time at Luton via Cyprus. 34 years old, will come in to play in central midfield. I brought in Solomon Rondon. He's planning to retire around December, but he can still be useful. 36 years old, by the way. And another striker, Daniel Udor, who spent last season at Shrewsbury. I'm hoping he could be our new Uche. Probably the best high-value free transfer is Luzeo, who came in from West Ham. He's had some time at Plymouth, but he hasn't kicked the ball for West Ham. He'll play as wide centre-back on the left-hand side. So as you can see, realistic transfers. The Oscar Bob one's a bit like that, but in the FM world, he's not like he is in real life. So I think we've kept it pretty real and got some experienced players as well, along with some players from the league below. Let's see how they fly in Season 4. We've also tweaked the tactic yet again. This is for Season 4. I'm happy with the shape. I've moved the 2 central midfielders up into box-to-box because I feel like with 3 centre-backs, we can afford to get a bit more aggressive. They're going to still be wide centre-backs. Wing-backs are going to be key. Really excited about the front options. I've also forgot to mention we bought in Kamara as well. Another free transfer from Norwich. Spent a bit of time at Bristol City. All about pace and movement up front. So that's the home tactic. If we've got any tricky away ones, we've dripped to this one. So it's slightly different. Less aggressive, but most of the time we're going to play this one. Oscar Bob will either play as a false 9 or he might switch to play shadow striker. We'll see how the season progresses. Overall though, good mix of youth and experience in that squad. And don't get me wrong, it was tempting to start spending money because the balance of the club's really good now, but we're keeping it real. And we were going to chase that possession-based style, kind of Guardiola-esque, weren't we? But I'm quite happy that we've gone with this 3 at the back system, and it's not too in your face. We've only got a slightly higher tempo, more often pressing, but I like it, and we've used 3 at the back right the way through, so let's see it through, eh? After 20 matches, we were back in the playoffs, but we were looking a bit more solid than last season, and we'd only lost 3 times. Abu Kamara had started electric. He'd scored 14 times in 19 games. Tactic was showing great promise. A lot of games were like this one against Stoke, where we were completely dominated. Occasionally, we had games like this one against Hull. Are you ready?
Easy.
Whoa. The very next match, we beat Watford away from home, scoring another 5. Yeah, things were going pretty well. So a cracking season overall. I'm a little bit worried now though, because with 3 games to go, we've just hit a little stumbling block against Luton and Bristol City. But as you can see, we lead the championship on 80 points, but it's super tight with Burnley and local rivals Sheffield United all vying for 2 spots. But what a season we've had. We've scored 104 times, which means conceding 59 is not a big issue because we're just outscoring teams. And we haven't tweaked this tactic much. That's the way it's looking. And you can see the chemistry between the players now. Oscar Bob settled in as a shadow striker. 14 assists from that position. Camera up front has been a right gem. Did not expect this, but he scored 33 times this season. In a system like this, the 2 wing-backs have been crucial. Beck, 12 assists. And Bradley on the other side with 18. So it was Swansea away. And thankfully, we got our form back. A really good 2-0 away win. So that meant a win against Blackpool, we would get into the Premier League. Oh man, what a result. So we finished top of the league by pretty comfy in the end, 6 points because of that good run at the end, and we only lost 7 matches. If I look at it in a bit more detail, winning 24 out of 46, but that 110 goals was so vital because we did concede a few at 62 because we are quite an expressive team. But yeah, decent result. Camera, what a find. 33 goals for the season. Beautiful. Free transfer from Norwich, who barely played him, by the way. Oscar Bob was great too. His values shot through the roof, so maybe he's fulfilling some of that potential. Right, great season, but we've got to get ready for next season now. And I'm going to keep the same philosophy, the same tactic. These boys have got us up there. So I want to keep as many of them in it as possible, keeping it as realistic as we can. The 3 centre-backs are going to stay the same. Bernard or Famiwu, depends which one I prefer. It's going to be 2 of them 3. Both wing-backs will stay, and the front 3 are definitely going to stay because they've earned a shot at it. We do need a new box-to-box midfielder. I'm going to need a new keeper. But other than that, it's just going to be squad players, I think. But overall, super happy to get the team promoted, spending 0, and actually bringing in 5 million because one of our players, James Sweet, who we got from Arsenal, joined Bristol City halfway through the season for 5 mil. Right, season 5, and I'm going to spend money on a keeper, but it's not going to be a lock. I mean, look at the state of the club. 31 million. We're absolutely loaded. Even the wage budget is handy at 229. But knowing our past history of chairman, let's just play it safe for this first season in the Premier League. So the only player we've spent money on in this entire save has been this man. James Trafford comes in from Burnley, and we've only spent 650,000 on him. When you look at his attributes and his experience at 24, I think that's a pretty decent signing. The rest of the transfers, we didn't do many. I wanted to stay faithful to the squad that got us up, so we've spent nothing and we brought nothing in. Josh Wilson-Esbrand rejoins us after his loan spell a few seasons back on a free transfer from Man City to compete for left wing back. Ellis Sims comes in from Coventry from the Championship. He wasn't prolific there. In fact, he hadn't even played for them, but I see potential as a good backup striker. Bit of experience for central midfield in Frank Onyeka. Comes in from Brentford via Reading. He's going to play box-to-box midfield. Jarell Kwanzaa comes in, released by Liverpool. Centre-back competition, pretty decent. And finally, a bit more experience as backup on the right-hand side, Kevin Mbabu. Who's going to play wing-back when he plays. So not a lot of transfers. I want to keep faith with the players that got us up. Just some nice additions. Most of them will probably be on the bench, other than maybe one who will start. It's a risky game I'm playing, but it's one I want to go for. We're likely going to line up like that. Same tactic as last season with the away one as well if we need it. Probably going to be that. A few changes here and there. There's competition for the front three spots, which is good. We've still got likes of Anja in. We've got Oakley Cannon there. We've got Ellie Sims. Plenty of cover at centre-back. We've got nice cover right around the pitch. Just going to keep it solid for this season. Not too many signings. And hope that will help us. Because as you may expect, the season preview has not been kind. And we sit 1,000 to 1. Expected to finish rock bottom. First game of the season, we put up a good fight away to Everton, but lost 3-1. But we got a win pretty early on with Kwanzaa scoring against Burnley. That gave us a 2-0 win at home. Followed that up with a good draw against Brentford. And then Kamara showing that he can do it at this level with a double against West Ham. So it was a good start, but then we played Liverpool away. And that's what happens when you play Liverpool away. But then we had another tough away game against Tottenham. And sealed probably our best result yet as manager of Wednesday, 3-2. Another couple of good results followed against Fulham and Bournemouth, but as the season rolled on, we started to struggle a little bit. We did put up a decent fight against Man City though, who are interestingly playing free at the back at the minute, look at that. So in January, we're sitting 13th in the league with 26 points. Currently we sit 10 points clear of relegation, which is fantastic. And if you look at it a bit closer, we're actually only 4 points off 7th. So that's not a bad start. And take a little look who's the top goal scorer in the league. Lukaku, Erling Haaland, Abu Kamara. That's right, he scored 12 in 19 appearances. The step up has proven a bit more tougher for Oscar Bob though, although his value has randomly shot right up. One of the main stars has been right wing back Connor Bradley. Remember where we got him from? Liverpool, release, so keep an eye out for him in your saves. He's been fantastic. And Sheffield Wednesday day one-er Dominic Iorfa, he's doing a solid job at centre-back. As is fellow day one-er Akin Famiwo. We gave Man City a hell of a fright in the FA Cup. But we came back down to earth with an absolutely crushing defeat away at Manchester United. 5-1, and they're playing a 4-2-4 at the minute, by the way. Yeah, tricky run of results here. No win in the Premier League in 6 matches, but we did get a big win against Palace. So as it stands after 28 matches, with 10 matches to go, we are still 13 clear of relegation. Just need to be a little bit careful with our current form. Kamara, by the way, still the top scorer in the league. Heartbreak. That 92nd minute penalty meant that happened, and that's the run we're on. Since January, that defeat against Man United has crushed us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 defeats in our last 8. We've got Arsenal, Sheffield, Chelsea, Leicester, Brighton and City at home. We're sitting 15th in the league. Them points gathered at the start of the season might save us because we've got 34 points. We're only 9 clear now though. We need to sort it out. But shout out to this man. He's still the top scorer in the Premier League. What a lad. A loss to Arsenal followed. We can expect that. Then we had local rivals Sheffield United, who themselves were 19th in the league. Massive match. Sheffield United came for a point. We did all the possession-based play. And finally, after 60 minutes, Ellie Sims bagged one. Huge win. Huge. We then went to Chelsea, Stamford Bridge. Tough match, but what a counter-attacking job we did on them. Andrew in scoring against his old club. What a win. Under loads of pressure, but we got it. With that win against Chelsea, it confirmed we would survive our season in the Premier League, and we've still got 2 games left. So I've got to be happy with this. Newly promoted team, not spending basically any money other than the keeper, and we've stayed up pretty comfortably. We've got a game left, 7 points clear. Now we're playing City on our last game of the season, so we're just going to go for it. Second half of the season, I won't lie to you, it was a bit of a struggle. You can see that there, but we've done all right. Looking at the team, the front three, I think, are electric. And Kamara is still the top scorer in the league. He scored 20 league goals this season. Palace are sniffing around him, but we're keeping him 100%. We should really make a few tactical changes and be not as gun-ho. Because if you look at the league, we have scored 52 times, which is pretty good for a lower half team. But we've also conceded 69 in 37 matches, which is the worst in the league. Sorry, it's the worst in the league. So it's clear where we need to improve. But we have managed to stay up thanks to the goals we've scored. Man City gave us a thumping, not really helped by that sending off. But it does mean we finished our season in 16th place, which is probably a fair reflection of where the team's at. 7 clear of relegation. So got to think that's a pretty successful season. And not only that, the board will be happy. 60 million in the bank, so sorted. So a successful 5 years with Sheffield Wednesday. Comes to completion, I think we did all right. We didn't spend any money. In total, we spent 650,000 on the one player, the goalkeeper. And that was it. If I was to do another season for this, looking at the team, there'd probably be some changes. Midfield would probably need a complete refresh at this level, and probably one or two of the defenders. The rest, I think they've got good potential. Next season, potential top 10. Who knows?